Well, welcome to the Meta Show. The meta is the game that controls everything behind you. The meta is the secrets behind the shade. The meta is the show. This is the Meta Show. Meta Show. Meta Show. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Holy fuck, that was awesome. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. I was really trying to find that chick's voice and try to get us into that tank thing, and then, yeah.
I think you did it. I think you got us there. I mean, I think that if anybody was going to get us there, it would be you, Wyld, and I'm proud that we have you as a guest again. That's excellent.
You. I hope that's... To be honest, I never left. I've stayed right here with these headsets and here, and I didn't know that I was supposed to go. It's
just a couple of weeks, and you're just hoping against hope that you'd be asked back, and
every day,
and then you got the call. Yeah. In our hour of need, Wyld.
I'm always here for you, man.
That's excellent. Yeah. So we had. So Boat is at his brother's wedding, and so we have Marconi's Porkbutte is hosting the show. And I don't see him here on Skype, but I see him on the recording. We actually get to see his smiling mug on camera, which is excellent.
Hello.
And then we basically have like some big station's butt. Like we basically have like an outpost's ass just kind of like facing us up on the screen. So this is the indie version. This is the indie version because Marconius actually has the beard to pull this off. So this is like the...
Oh, yeah.
Old school. Well, we're getting a lot of people resubbing, and that is excellent. I don't think we're so old school here. We don't have Hypno Kitten.
No Hypno Kitten. Oh. Wow.
Somebody is saying Porkbutte, we can't hear you. Porkbutte, you're muted.
Oh.
Everybody's saying that you cannot be heard. Thankfully, Wyld and I can run our mouths. They're both.
Yeah, I mean, and also if we don't have Hypno Kitty, I will read all donations or comments, paid up for. I will, and any voice you particularly want, I will do that for you. So, in lieu of our Hypno Kitty, I will do that.
So we're off to a great start. I fixed my mic now. And
did you find out what's wrong with it? Like, can people actually hear it?
It's really sad that people didn't hear my music for.
Oh my God, that's right. So the entire time through that intro, are you recording it? Did you record it on your side?
It'll be recorded. Yeah.
Oh, so they just heard my silly voice.
They just heard you doing the meta show. So guys, like Porkbutte was sitting there going do 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 do. Like Porkbutte, do it again.
Why don't we just do the intro?
Let's just do the whole intro again for everybody.
So let's just count it down.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna mute my mic so my laughing doesn't interfere with everything.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Go for it.
2, 3.
The Meta Show. The show about meta. The meta is the stuff behind the screens. Everything meta that you needed to know is on the Meta Show. Meta Show.
The Meta Show.
The Meta Show.
The Meta Show.
Oh my God. I almost started choking there. It was like an assassination attempt or something. Yeah. So apparently, Porkbutte, now they can hear you, but that was only in the left ear.
Oh man.
Yeah. And now Kane says that his left ear feels dirty now.
If you spin it right round though, you'd be all right. So just.
Ooh, baby. Yeah.
Great.
I made a amazing. I finally I converted to the dark side, and this has nothing to do with EVE Online, but it does have to do with spinning people right round. I signed up for Apple Music, and I have an Apple TV, and I have an Apple phone, which means that I can basically yell at anything in my house and have it obey, which is awesome.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, I mean, basically just yelling at things and having stuff respond is kind of like my thing. But I now have 197 song new wave 80s deep cuts, old school Pete Shelley, weird Ultravox stuff, and I'm just blasting it all the time. It's excellent. So there's been a lot of spinning people right round.
That is good.
In my undisclosed location. It's pretty awesome. So Porkbutte, do you know why people can only hear you in the left ear? Have you fixed it?
I clicked a checkbox. Does that fix it?
I have no idea.
You sound fine to me.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm just going to try not to run my mouth as much, which I'm sure you will have no problem overcompensating for.
Wow. Harsh words. Fair.
Well, to be fair, I haven't really played EVE in a couple of months, so I'm just here as a substitute to make sure you guys don't run off the rails.
Good luck.
I'm fairly certain he wasn't meaning you there, Mittani.
Okay, it's fixed. It's fixed. I was trying
All
not
right.
to yell in the mic, but it's gonna happen regardless.
Try not to yell, and you're on a show with Wyld and me. And,
Yeah.
No, this is going to end well.
I do like that checkbox fixes everything. That's
It
a true.
does.
That is a true statement. It's a true statement. True statement.
Yeah.
So yeah, EVE Online has been actually pretty well. It's interesting for us, and I have some notes here about the stuff that has been going on in this week of our Lord, August 6th, 2016. But it's been, elsewhere in EVE has been relatively quiet. I mean, Wyld, how active have you been in the recent Delve shenanigans?
I've been having a great time. I've missed the alarm clock because I'm old and I like to sleep. But
reason.
But I woke up. I did wake up the other morning. I noticed everything was down. So there was a nag just being like roaming and wanting to die. So I hopped at 5:30 in the morning, got a coffee, and then hopped in an Onyx, and then got it primaried by everybody.
There was a video. I watched the video.
Yeah.
I got to see this. Sorry, I'm gonna move this so that my better side is showing. I got to see the video of this. Brave Newbies did a video of them, like they had given somebody a Naglfar, and then just. And then you were the Onyx, which was tackling them. Did they actually kill your Onyx?
Yeah. Oh, right away. I got on grid, and then I was like, "I'm gonna get in," and it was fantastic. It was glorious death. Good times. But yeah, so then I've been taking out TCUs and stuff. Yeah, oh my god. Then everyone jumped. I was really hoping that, honestly, it was like 3 or 4 seconds right before the entirety of goons got there, and they were going to save me, and I overheated everything, and I still died. So, hey, such is life.
So, Brave Newbies are in Delph?
Yeah.
Well, they're some of them in
Newsflash.
Aquarius, right?
Okay.
And so they, it was a good video. I thought it was cute. I thought it was well handled all the way around. Like they were pretty chill about it. We don't really have like diplomatic relations with them yet because maybe we do, and I just haven't checked in with their diplos. But Delve has been an interesting experience in general for the Imperium because it's very big fish small pond. Like regardless of smuggling or anything like that, we preserved our Siri is now being confused with me as if I was talking to my phone. This is a problem about my house is I'll just run my mouth and now things will respond. So I need to make sure my Roomba doesn't suddenly start zooming around in the middle of the show just because
I have always wanted to do that, being on TV and just be like, Xbox shut down or turn off or
everything.
Xbox.
Hey Siri. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hey Siri, call mom.
Yeah.
You should really try to anthropomorphize your Roomba and put some little googly eyes on it, so when it runs around.
I was having an entire conversation about that actually with someone who was hanging out over here, and I think it wasn't. Oh wow! It was actually Scion. It was Scion Kumatemo, and he was saying that I needed to, I could put flames and I could put racing stripes on it. I could put flames on the side of it, and I was like, well, what we could do is we could put laser lights on it and have it be a disco Roomba, such that when parties, you turn off all the lights and set off the Roomba and runs around and it's its own mobile laser light show.
Well,
Scion
is
with freaking lasers on it.
Scion
is
is
that
a
what
robot.
With freaking laser beams. Exactly. Well done.
Scion is a robot, so he was just trying to make his cousin look good.
That's probably true. he wanted to gussy up a fellow robot such that because Scion does wear clothes, which is a good thing that most robots don't do. So I imagine that Scion was going, there's a fellow robot there, and it's naked, and it just.
It is an odd point that what kind of robots do you have in your house that are not wearing clothes, sir?
Well, it is.
Hey, look, I'm a naturalist when it comes to robotics, and we have to have naturalist robot beaches, except that sand gets in all the gears and it gets very complicated. And then you have to have lots of oil, and then the people think that you're not just oiling the sand out. It's this whole lube thing, and the people make innuendos about it. I don't understand. It's just nature. It's not. Yeah. It's not
man,
a beach.
Man in a machine. It's going to come together eventually.
This is excellent, Wyld. I'm delighted that you're here because we have an excuse to talk about overly lubricated robot beach sex parties and whether they are
anytime.
wearing clothes. That's excellent. Roombas aside, and yelling at things in my house. Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Delve. So what's been funny about this is, like, geographically speaking, like a couple of hostiles have been talking about sending squads down there. Like Test in theory was going to send a squad. Darkness is going to send a squad led by Wyld Randall, who used to be involved with Morsis Mihi and is, I guess, now in Darkness. And they're going to send down their Australian time zone squads. There's been a massive pile of alarm clock ops from the Imperium. We had 170 people turn up at Aussie time zone yesterday, like no, 2 days ago, on a Thursday night, functionally speaking, Friday morning Eve time. We had 174 form up to deal with some iHubs that needed clearing out. But it's been interesting because, we've been able to use our capitals and our super capitals with relative impunity. All of these ships that were not destroyed in the big BR5 that was supposed to happen in the northern phase of the war. And the biggest takeaway that I've had from it is that basically, even when you can use capitals and super caps with impunity, Fozzy still blows ass. Like,
true.
It still sucks. It sucks less in the sense that, like, you can now, instead of like dealing with like clown shoes and node bullshit, we just throw fax machines at the problem. But there's a bug that is allegedly getting fixed that allows ECM bursts to break fax machines locks. So, normally speaking, you just put a carrier on a node and then make the node go away, and it takes forever, and you're sitting there for at least 15 to 30 minutes just holding your dick being bored. Fascinating gameplay. Love it. Positive reviews. You can see the EVE Online PCU is going up. Everybody loves FozzySoft. Even I can't maintain it.
So how much longer until EVE becomes free to play?
Ooh, cold. I mean, that's a very good question, because that's one of those, like, that's a question, both insult and also like just a very honest, earnest, reasonable question to ask. It's kind of weird. So, like, the fax machine thing, it's nice because, like, you don't have to do all the bullshit subcap stuff. It takes longer in theory, but in practice it doesn't, because if you're playing FozzySub the right way with subcapitals, it's just it's trying to catch a greased pig. I don't know. Well, what's you're better at coming up with analogies on the fly. What's the most obnoxious and vaguely sexual, but not completely, like, what's going to be the most cringeworthy analogy you can come up with for FozzySoft?
I don't. I don't have a good one, because I mean every single person hates this the most. I think the faxes are funny though, because it just shows the complete ludicrous speed of which the game we are playing has gone, where that's not what it's supposed to be for. But I do enjoy that we're kind of taking things back in a smarter way this time. I feel like we got a little bit of hurt by FozzySoft, and we've changed the game. So now we're making them do things different without having just TCUs and Citadels. It's a brand new world for us. We're not really bending our knee to Foz anymore, I guess.
One of the things that's interesting is that our footprint that we had in the Northwest was, of course, chosen 6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
We got a couch from TCF and Declan, and then we sort of settled in up there, and then in the greater Northwest. And with the combination of the FozzySoft bullshit with this node Cosmic Whack-A-Mole crap, yeah, nice. With the Cosmic Whack-A-Mole and the Phoebe changes in terms of jump range, like Delve is just having a place that is more geographically isolated. Because the thing is that, like, people can find content in the Northwest fairly easily, because if they're like PL or NC attacking Test, and then Test stops providing content, then they can just scoot over while still being within the Northwest and get other things. So the things about, like, Delve, Fountain, and Aquarius is you pretty much have to commit to a trail of tiers to get down there, and then there's really just that. Like, there's no way to go like, oh, we'll just scoot over here and get different kind of content. So it's really a more isolated and, I guess, like, Phoebe and Fozzy bullshit friendly zone. And we're taking it slow. We're not going, oh, we're going to conquer everything, because that clearly is something that just burns people out and kind of sucks. So
yeah.
So Marcia wants to know, instead of talking about FozzySoft, why we don't just play it and revive it and make it better, or review
play it and review it is what he's saying. Well, we have been playing it. We've been playing it more than anybody else in the game, period. And we are the experts on it. We know more about FozzySoft than anyone. And that is not actually an arrogant statement.
I definitely feel like I know more than I ever want to know about it.
We pioneered the clown shoe, whereby Corns came up with it. We have used innovative tactics to deal with the first fax hackers. we have been essentially front and center in dealing with FozzieSov more than anybody else in the game as it iterated through the Citadel patch, the changes to caps and super caps. And if this statement of fact makes you angry, then you should probably check your Gurgoon bias. But I mean, it is the reality.
Yeah. I think we've been doing great. I love this change. I mean, I think without them admitting their mistake and they just kind of like doubled down, like I don't know, Hillary emails or something. But they've, what they really did is they just said no, this is the way it is. Everyone's like grow up and accept it, and we have. We're like, well, you know what? We're not gonna have we're just gonna have the Citadel, and not only we're gonna have one Citadel, we're gonna have 14. So it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we did even before the war in the north happened was we started doing deployments to Providence and to Cloud Ring, et cetera, to like kick the tires and try to figure out the mechanics and how that worked. So even before the big northern war kicked off, we were out there testing it before anybody else. So when we say that it sucks, I mean, you can say that it's because goons are whining or whatever, but like we've found the most optimal way of taking this stuff. We found the most optimal region to go to, and it's getting done. There is kind of a segue here in terms of, it is better to criticize the system when you're in a position of authority, right? So like if we were like losing all of our crap, if we weren't actually able to take what we're doing, we preserved our capital and our super capital fleet precisely such that we could come down here and then just helicopter dick everything because it's the most efficient way to deal with it. But the whole thing with ECM bursts recently this week is something. There's a patch coming out. So segue, subtle segue, everybody. Very, very subtle.
CCP, please.
Okay. We have there's a patch coming up in a couple days, which is going to be adding contracts into Citadels, which will actually allow Citadels to have some of the functionality that they were supposed to have to begin with. Citadels, of course, we might all hate FozzieSov because it's dumb, but everybody seems to really like Citadels, and I do too. Like the Citadel team did a great job, and it's a great loss to CCP to have Nuller board no longer with the company. But that was fantastic all the way around getting the Citadels in. And so contracts are going to go in there, so you're going to be able to see people actually like living in Citadels for real, not just like having a market, but being able to like do proper staging there. And also this ECM burst crap is getting fixed. So ECM bursts are not supposed to be able to break a lock on a fax machine that's in triage mode, right? But they have been able to. And so that's one of the things that's been annoying about FozzieSov during this is not just like the system itself being lame, but the bugs affiliated with the system because it's been buggy as shit forever. So that'll be fixed. That's great, whatever. But this was used to destroy a Goonswarm Titan, actually. There was an ECM burst. Wyld, were you familiar with this incident?
Yeah. Well, I heard that he was a little late straggler, which I felt bad. I mean, we've had a pretty awesome move down here. But yeah, I heard that he was sitting there, and then, looked like he was safe. Everything was good. And then mysteriously, didn't want to call it an exploit until CCP did, but it happened and he got blapped by pretty much everyone. But I really enjoyed most was the Z Killboard, saying exploit. Yeah. Because that really underlines the point to your PL friends that you're cheating.
Well, in this case, like they were even more obvious about the fact that it was known to be an exploit. So this is PL is getting ready for the Alliance tournament or whatever, but I imagine that they expect us to be all nice now that we're not actively in combat or something like that. But the hits don't stop coming when it comes to the media. So what we have here is this ECM burst thing. There's an exploit where you could use an ECM burst to keep a Titan or anything else on a Citadel from tethering. Like you would set off the ECM burst, it would break the tether, and it would create a normal log-off timer. And this was like the most thinly veiled, oops, we know we're doing it wrong, but we're doing it anyway thing ever, because the person who ECM bursted on this Titan, which, by the way, has already been reimbursed by CCP. That's was fantastic. Like the next day, the Titan was handed back by CCP, possibly because when Z Killboard says exploit there in a very obvious way, it can't just be swept under the rug as like, oh, Goonie Titan, haha. So the PL alt bomber, which ECM bursted this thing and showed up on the kill mail, wasn't actually in PL, but every other kill mail it's ever been associated with was only ever with PL. So out of Alliance alt, they wanted to try to go in double wrapped, but they didn't go in wrapped hard enough, brought it in, killed the Titan, it got replaced, and apparently I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't been checking in on R-Eve as much as I was a couple months ago. But apparently, even the Redditors are now starting to say, "Oh, hey, maybe actually PL were the shitlords this entire time." And I was told before the show that some of them are actually daring to say that PL might be full of shit and a bunch of hypocrites. Now, I don't know about that because I'm pretty sure that everybody who is a diehard R-Eve person, if they are in Test or one of the other Reddit affiliated alliances like Pandemic Horde, they exist to be bootlickers.
I'm just trying. Finally, the cracks are finally forming. I mean, it's taken a long time. I'm just glad to see them finally happening.
It's one of those things where like they, immediately like PL went to go attack Test and then tell Test that it was good for them, that Test deserved it, and that PL just hit them so much because they loved them, which is exactly what they said to Brave and exactly what they said to basically all of the people that they have treated as abused spouses for the last however many years. And yet, then every generation of these people, they're shocked, like, oh my God, PL turned on us and they weren't really our allies, and oh wow, they're just abusing us, and shocking.
See, really though, Mittani, you're going about this all the wrong way. Like, if you really want to get rid of PL, just advocate for more Alliance tournament shit year round, and then we'll never have to fucking deal with them.
That's true. I mean, Alliance tournaments are very important. I imagine 3 possible. I mean, the Alliance tournament, like 3, possibly 4 people are. I mean, people do actually care about the Alliance tournament. I'm just not one of them, and a lot of the other.
I'm surprised that we didn't. I think I even asked last time we were here about the Alliance tournament, and I hear White Legion. God, rest their soul, made it in. They're good. That's good. We did not. We did not make it in.
We submitted like the normal like 5-plex bid thing because Asher was like, "Hey, like I want to try to do the Alliance tournament." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And then what really happened is everybody who wants to prove how large their penis is on the internet spent apparently a lot of money. Like I'm not sure how many people actually got in like through the actual dice roll random bids because I haven't looked into this because I just don't care. But I was told last week that people had been buying their way in and just basically taking the money from Lenny Kravitz and from the I1ISK side of the war. And the people at the top of these alliances who were getting money from I1ISK weren't spending it on their members. They were spending it on Titans for themselves and then blew the money on getting themselves into the Alliance tournament.
That's fantastic.
It's great. I mean, this is the thing, is that when you have an alliance that exists to enrich the people at the top of the alliance, they want to buy Titans and Super Caps and all this fancy stuff. It doesn't. You end up with a situation like with Pandemic Horde where people don't actually have any kind of reimbursement or anything for the line members because it's not about the line members. So.
I've seen a couple of things recently about this Lenny guy, and I don't know where we went wrong with this. I think we need to, personally, just need to get up there and be like, Lenny, listen, bro, I need your money. What do I gotta do?
I think we just need to approach it from a business angle and just
seriously,
let's just figure out a way to legit RMT all this shit and rake it in,
Yeah, I mean, I want to be as terrible as they say I am, but I mean, I also want to have so much ISK. It's like, Tony, like the Scarface level of ISK. That's.
So we have a guy saying here, Goonswarm has never had the contacts to do proper match fixing in the AT, which is why it's not a priority.
Yeah,
I mean that's true. That is true. Going back to I think it was the 2012 Alliance tournament. So 4 years ago, you got to see John Zastro wearing a shirt that says "I support CCP Engineering Alliance" when he was an AT commentator. So Goonswarm has had multiple AT commentators, and Zastro was supporting CCP Engineering Alliance because I personally. Just sent the money for the Alliance tournament fee back then to CCP Engineering Alliance when it was apparently supposed to go to some other sort of thing, and that was like the CCP Test Alliance, and so they didn't actually get in to the Alliance tournament that year just because I cared so little that I was like, oh yeah, okay, fine, whatever tournament fee, I'll send it here to the wrong thing. I just couldn't give a fuck less about the Alliance tournament because it's irrelevant. It's like, oh wow, you got your EP and congratulations. No, territory is conquered, nothing really matters. It's purely just about it's like a midlife crisis red sports car, basically.
This is my boat moment when I read Elysium. First statement is you have a pretty strong chin, and the other side is you have a Cro-Magnon forehead that looks like you could shatter granite with that thing. I'm sure it's called granite. I don't know, whatever.
Nominate says, so I mean, I think that's a compliment. I think that says that you have a lot of testosterone and that you're a strong caveman and you're a witty caveman.
Yeah. I'm like a caveman lawyer. It's we didn't have a lot of things, like this fire or internet. Sorry. But I think
So-
I can't wait to see Eve bet. If it's all gonna be Lenny versus Lenny, this is almost like the last time when it was Hydra versus PL's Hydra. I'm excited to see who's gonna be the Lenny Kravitz winner.
I think that they've got an interesting point, which is that like there's no real point like if you really need to be part of the match fixing to really make it worthwhile. And what is something we talked about actually I think last week on the Meta Show is they did shut down the log server stuff, and this is relevant to the discussion of the AT. So apparently. There was a lot of things that you could use the log server to get information about people who are practicing for the AT on CC or otherwise like fuckery involving that. And that has been shut down this year. So that is actually an interesting bit of metagame stuff about the Alliance tournament is we'll have to see whether the shutting off of the log server results in more mistakes being made, i.e. people being forced to play within more rules. Now, I mean, we've never thrown shade on the Meta Show about what used to be more interesting about the Alliance tournament for me was the spying, because there was actually back in the day before the log server shit, like people would really before they sort of turned into a system of match fixing, because I think the match fixing happened naturally because the people who really cared about the Alliance tournament, it's about 100 human beings are those who are like really invested in the Alliance tournament, and then over time those are going to be the guys who are going to form bonds. It's like the nullsec autocrats, like Good Old Boys Club. Like naturally over time people will end up forming bonds and then rigging a system. But back in the day, like there would be all sorts of crazy like wormhole spying, and people would try to infiltrate each other's AT groups and get on each other's forums to see the fits that they were posted. And there was actual like meta involving there. So like throwing shade about the log server, like if you've got it, if CCP has given you that on a platter, then God bless and use it to win.
Absolutely.
How sad is it though? Like we're here to talk about like the meta, and I mean, there's so much not going on that we're talking about the meta of like the Alliance tournament because it's
a non-existent
like,
meta,
a non-existent thing that doesn't
used to
even really
exist years
matter.
ago.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's see, I've got some notes here. I mean, besides like the biggest meta thing that's happened, of course, is PL exploiting and blowing up the Titan that got reimbursed, knowing that they were exploiting, which is why they used their like little cutout thing. We are talking about how, and we already covered the thing with ECM bursts being fixed for fax machines, and the Alliance tournament is coming up. But like,
that's well,
basically it. Like,
everybody's getting ready for the.
Territory. This is like.
Well, we're getting ready for Eve to become free to play, and so once that happens.
My wife wants you to say one day more from Les Mis.
So bad
Porkbutte.
here in chat that we have Rogue Gamers, who has now made 4 comments, I believe, in a row, trying to imply that I am mad. This is my mad face, by the way. This is when I'm like giggling. This is what I look like when I'm mad. I giggle a lot when I'm angry.
But you did have a 5-month subscriber in a row. We
just got a donation. So. Somebody wants to hear me sing Les Mis for $3.
Can you do that? Can you actually?
They want me to sing one day more. I'm going to have to do some research while you guys talk.
All right, so you look up on that. Shane Feldman has a question, which is, are they fixing the bumping as well, or just the ECM burst exploit? I was talking to Asher about this earlier, and he said that the bumping was also getting fixed, but I could be wrong, so if I am wrong, somebody say so in chat. Okay, so they're saying it's just the exploit with the ECM thing, not the bumping. I'm not so sure about that.
I did like the error message. This what was it? You can't do what you just did because unicorns and something else have this ship on lock or something. Was that? I thought I can't. I mean, I'm pretty sure someone else can get the proper quote, but I thought that was a pretty interesting. I like it when CCP does a little bit of fun things. Like when they make fun of themselves and make cute error messages.
The good old days.
Yes.
Alas. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the PCUs. Like, somebody was doing an analysis of like the dreaded summer slump, which is always bullshit. Like, there's no actual summer slump. It's just used as an excuse. The level of activity in general in the game has, resulted in people playing optimally. Is to sort of go away. Like once the NBC settled down roots in the Northwest, right? It was obvious, like the danger of leaving the Northwest for a while was that those guys would actually follow us, right? So we waited, we diddled around, we did all this stuff, we fought back, we did this, we did that, we preserved our super capital fleet. And then once they started settling down roots and like actually getting addicted to the Garistas Menace and putting down keep stars and stuff, then, we fucked off to Delve. which I consider to be more optimal now that they can't follow us. It's just better geography all the way around. But, because of that, I think that there is always a stabilization that happens to political systems or game systems after a while. And because of that stability, right? Like now that the Imperium has moved to the southwest, the NBC has settled up north, NCDOT and PL have turned on the NBC and starting to farm them for content as predicted. The drone regions are still the drone regions. The southeast is still the southeast. That kind of means that, I think it's just reflected directly in the PCUs. Just
yeah. Oh, so the exact quote was, "You are unable to lock unicorns because they are currently frozen by a GM." That's quite the year message.
Are they saying that the GMs are unicorn hunters or unicorn freezers? That's
I think the best thing about this Delve thing is it's like we're fulfilling the prophecy of having to go to Delve every single year. So like this is just
we broke it up a little bit, right? Like we basically have Delve has kind of always been our forever home. It's either going to be we were in the Northwest for a very long time, and it's like the moment that I had was what guys, let's just fuck it, it's time to go home. And the CEOs were like, yay! Because I think everybody had gotten sick of the SOB. Like, we had enjoyed killing the Titans and enjoyed killing people, but the actual process of engaging in the Fozzie SOV at the subcapital level was just crap. So that was that. Let me see. I'm looking here in chat. We're talking about unicorns. I
was told, that the Titan was actually called Unicorn. So I guess it's not as funny.
Oh, it's not as funny, right? That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, then I guess fuck you, CCB.
We're no more silver linings there.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Well, I'm curious actually. Speaking of PAX is coming up. It's Gen Con weekend right now, so a lot of people are down in Freedom Land. A lot of people are down in Indianapolis doing the whole Gen Con board game thing. But then at the end of this month, I believe, is PAX out in Seattle, PAX Prime. I have no idea whether CCB is going to be there or do anything because I think that they've sort of cut down their show presence, except for VR. And that's sort of why we're in this kind of.
Ooh, did you say VR? I was gonna start my show, the show like this. Hold on. I was like,
all right. Let's go. Let's do this.
Okay. All right. Now I've gone. Now, can you see me?
I can see you.
Yeah.
I can see you.
Oh, what? Yeah. I was going to do that for the whole show, but I felt like that might be a little bit over the top and not necessary.
I think that would be acceptable, especially if you put googly eyes.
Well, that's just the wave
of
the future. Yeah, right there. I've seen. I'm doing Valkyrie, and nothing really is better than just having the suction cups right on your eyeballs for any amount of time. So I can't really wait for us all. I don't
actually. I can think of something that'd be better to have on your eyeballs for that much time. I'm just saying.
I don't. All right, I'm not gonna take the bait. You sit there with this thing, and you can. I think you can feel it sucking the very souls right out of your eyes, because you walk away all red but this is it, man. Valkyrie's the Valkyrie's where they spend all their money. I think there was a post recently about how they're siphoning all of the ISK straight to VR.
Well, that's kind of weird because Valkyrie got I don't know, this wasn't really publicized in places because I imagine that CCB didn't want it to be publicized, but PC Gamer did a review on Valkyrie a couple months ago because, it was out and it was released. And, in terms of platforms, it's on Oculus first, and there's just not that many Oculus Rifts out there. Like, in terms of the number of units that have actually been sold, like your total install base for the product is, let's be generous. Let's say it's 100,000 people have bought a consumer grade version of this, and then of that product architecture, then you have however many people have actually bought Valkyrie, and after all the hype and all the sturm and drag, PC Gamer gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
6 out of 10. And I played it for short bursts a number of times, and I liked it, but I always played it for short bursts. Like, it's just like you play the one,
and that's really it
at a trade show, and then you're like, oh wow, this is really awesome. And I got to be pretty good at it, playing like 3 or 4 times in the course of a year. This version of the show, this version of the show, etc. But when I saw that 6 out of 10, I was like, ooh, God.
Well,
it is something amazing. Like when you fly right up to like the Dread or to the Titan, and you're like, wow, and that's it. That's when you take it off, and you're like, there's no real value.
It seems like it's kind of the same problem that they have across the board with a lot of things. It's a very good compartmentalized game if you're playing it for like 20 minutes here, an hour there, maybe at the most. But it doesn't really have like a lot of things they're doing. It doesn't have the carry through of like, this is the grand narrative of why you're doing this thing that's going to keep you coming back for different things and making long-term plans. It's just very, very compartmentalized.
This is sort of... You go. Sorry.
It does the one thing where I think that Eve has never been good at, which is like getting you into a quick combat situation where, you have 10, 15 minutes, you come, you fight somebody, you're on a leaderboard, like it's just like your consolization of games. And so it does that where you can just hop in, you get on the leaderboard, you join a group, and then you fight, and then you die. That's it. And there's not a lot of eviness to it. You know what I mean? There's no skill sets. There's implants, but they're just mostly for XP and cosmetics. So, yeah, that's really it.
Yeah,
I think that this sort of brings up like the discussions of like VR and free to play and like the Summer Slum and stuff like that. This Rogue Gamers guy, of course, is a classic like Gurgoons guy, and he's usually here and is providing fun content for us. But what he was saying, and
I think we muted him actually.
Did we? Well, he said it was Mittens, bro. You can't blame CCP for lack of activity when goons just want blue balls during World War B. And that is an interesting point where we have somebody who's amongst our enemies saying that essentially it is my fault, explicitly my fault, because I lead Goons Forum now. Of course, we make decisions involving the entire directorate and stuff like that, but ultimately the call to go or no go or where a vulnerability will notice go is mine. And so we have a situation here where the health of a game and of a company that makes millions of dollars and the activity in the game or lack of activity in that game is unironically being blamed on a player.
It's you. Yeah, it's you.
In the game.
Yeah,
and that I think sets up an interesting question, which is like, okay, well, what kind of an abdication of responsibility is that? Is, if there's a lack of content in the game, what are you going to say to your investors? Well, we wanted to have more things happening in the game, but there's this jerk who wears too many red shirts.
Yeah.
Well, they're really hitting on a point that hits close to me because, I stepped down from Karma Fleet CEO and EVE Online in general. I'm winning EVE right now. It's great. I don't know why I'm hosting a show about it, but anyways, one of the problems that I had with it was it felt like I was, like, part of my role as a CEO of a new player corporation was to be a brand ambassador for CCP games.
Right,
and
like
you get asked
asked
for like your opinion on stuff to help new players like fucking every week, and like it's just constant, and the feedback is always the same, like make the game better, put stuff in the game that makes the game better, like it's like that's all it is, and it's like, oh, what could you guys do to make it better? It's like I'm doing as much as I can. There's nothing else I can do. Like, we can't roll out any more socialization programs. We can't hand out skill books fast enough. We can't hand out free ships fast enough. Like, I cannot make your game better. Like, you guys have to. And if you don't want to do that, then that's on you. And you need to stop blaming everybody else for it.
But VR is the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will admit that there's this thing where you can get like 8 different screens. It's 8 different browsers, and there's a particular couple of sites that you can get 8 of. And I mean, that for Oculus is awesome. I mean,
there's actually
not going to tell you the sites; they're trademarked, but they're really good.
There are a couple points here that I think are curious in general. One of which is the idea, I think that what happened is that because EVE perhaps is such an old game, in the early days of the internet, right? I mean, of course, I started on the net in like 1996 with dial-up and shit like that. But EVE came out in 2003 and was in development before that. But there really wasn't like this ecosystem of third-party apps and things like that. And so what ended up happening is that CCP, I think, came to rely upon the idea that the players like Willari at Dotlan and everybody else who's creating the people with Z-Killboard and things like that would create many of these things for the company, right? Because they always did in the past. And you see Blizzard has armories. They have all the stuff that they do themselves for the players, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is Porkbutte's point, which is that there has been this assumption, I think, almost dare I say, an entitlement that the players will provide these sort of externalities, right? They are taking this assumption that the content and the promotion and the marketing will be handled by the players, and then they're surprised when it doesn't happen. So bringing back to what somebody else is saying here about World War B, the whole, all that stuff, is the moment that we saw in the directorate of Goons Forum that CCP's PR guy had sent out a press release talking about how you should join EVE Online and participate in World War B. And, this is basically serving us up on a platter for new players to join, which also brings up an interesting point, which is if you're going to try to serve up players on a platter as content to new players, you're literally trying to cannibalize your existing player base of proven players who play for a long, long time and pay lots of money over years and years and years for the hope of new players who might try the game for a week on average and then quit. So sacrificing existing player base for a hypothetical new player base. The moment that we saw that press release, the directorate of Goonswarm was like, okay, we're moving the vulnerability windows into ghost time. Let's find like the moment that we saw that from the company, that was literally the decision. So when Rogue Gamers is here on TV and is saying in chat, like, why is it that Goons, it's Goonswarm's fault that there's less PCU? Because you guys didn't fight the way that we wanted in World War B. One of the things that people need to know and consider is that when we saw the press releases that were going out from CCP doing that was the decision point that made us go, okay, we're changing our vulnerability windows from previously prime time into what we call now, what we invented a time zone called ghost time zone, because that's statistically the lowest time. Because,
Well, I will say that I did get the best background out of it, and I know a lot of people. I think you probably made or had a hand in the new one for our actually having a background for our lines. I still like the one with the bees. And I feel like now that it's gone, it's priceless, so I could never update my picture. So I thought those are good, but you're absolutely right though. They have CCP has never been involved with making any content outside of maybe the incursions or the PV, like a minor PV stuff, but. I guess they tried recently with have a hand when doing the MR tournament stuff, but even
that Serpentis
there's like five too.
People. Yeah, I think it's Blizzard is a fan. You can love World of Warcraft or hate it, but Blizzard is a fantastic company to just look at and say wow, you guys are really good at taking things that your player base does and putting those into the game and being like, oh, apparently players like this. Let's figure out a way to incorporate that into our actual product, into the actual engine itself. And that's something that CCP just never has done. And it's frustrating, and I think the ultimate way that they fixed their problem was they blacklisted the Mittani.com, so we'd never get those press releases anymore. So that was their solution to a lot of it.
Well,
it was just they just blacklist us and say, oh, well, you're not real media anyway.
This is actually one of the funny things is that if you look at the rankings of the websites, we ran the Vegas Twitch stream for CCP last year and at Vegas, and we had
I produced that.
You did that. And we had 6,000 people viewing it concurrently. And then recently, not for me because I wasn't going to FanFest, two of our editors are going to go for FanFest and they were denied press passes. And recently we were denied press passes for going to EVE Vegas, which is, this is again, all from the same person who put those press releases out about how World War B, blah, blah, blah. So it's just sort of a curious thing. During this period of this last month, as things have been sort of declining in EVE, we have run on the Mittani.com some articles by Sion Kumitomo, who is a robot, criticizing CCP about the VR thing. And of course, they can't really handle criticism of anyway. But what's interesting from just it's business incentives and alignment of business incentives, where what you've seen with the rankings of Crossing Zebras and EVE 24 versus TMC during this period is when we've been running articles that are actually speaking the truth regarding VR and what's going on with EVE, our traffic has continued to climb, while what I would call the Gurgoon CCP bootlicker or PL bootlicker sites have just kind of twaddled off into nothing. So there is very much a desire from the player base to hear discussions of investment in VR or what's going on with all this. Why is the PCU declining? Because it's still our favorite game. It is our favorite game.
Exactly.
The best for our fucking favorite game.
Yeah.
And so,
I think what a lot of people don't get is that's it. We love this game so much. That's why we bitch about it all the time. It's not, and I just asked one of these guys, it's not truly butthurt because really there's so much love that it's the only thing that we love to beat up, and I'm not entirely certain there's anything more. And it really brings it's only the thing that you can just you can meet people at a bar and you're like, what alliance or what corp are you, and it just turns into people just walk away, oh, you're good, gotta go, or you're PL and you get run over by a taxi. I mean, those things happen anyway.
I do think it's a very interesting thing because like we do care a lot about it. It's the only thing that really lets us organize and do things in the way that we can. And Eve has for the last 10 years been a very unique place in the game world, and nothing else is like that, and will pretty much ever come close to that. And so it's just disappointing to us to see it on the slow march to becoming free to play with fuzzy soft mechanics fucking up everything in the rest of the world. So it's just, I don't know, it's very disappointing.
There are people who are appeasers, people who are afraid to state openly things that are wrong, because some people, and it's just human nature, like in terms of personality theory, which is a recent enthusiasm of mine. I've been reading a lot. I'm a psych nerd, so I look into like MBTI stuff recently and have a few friends who have been into that. But I mean, there's some people who want to be understood. There's some people who,
Did you just call Zenuria your friend on the internet? Did that?
Did I say that?
That's been a long. I mean, that's.
I didn't say anything about Zenuria. I just said there are some people.
NP, BTI, French, Psych.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know, psych nerds are all a little crazy at some
Somebody,
I'm definitely
mark this down. I'm writing it
a little
book.
crazy
In a book.
Okay, there we go. In the book.
Go ahead. Sorry.
ENTP checking in. That's Asher. I am shockingly enough, if you're an MBTI type, shockingly enough, I'm an ENTJ. Destroyer of Worlds. But the entire system of it is, you know, there are people in chat who are upset that we are being negative by calling out actual problems or challenges or what have you. There are always going to be people who say that we should just hold hands and sing Kumbaya and be quiet and hope for the best. And you see these cycles in the generations of the player base, because at every few years in EVE, the player base gets mad at CCP for fucking something up, be it Monocle Gate, be it boot.ini, be it AOA doomsdaying Titans, being it Titans existing in the first place. You know, there are these periods, and the conflicts through the media, as the media exists, are always fitting the same pattern. There are people who are always appealing to authority, who want the father figure of the game company that they make to magically make everything right. And if you just hope and trust and pray, everything will get better, which is, of course, been proven factually to be utter and complete bullshit. So it's always interesting to me whenever I see people in chat or in general who are saying, you know, if we just sing Kumbaya enough, and if we're nice and if we're positive enough, then change will happen. Because through the course of human history, change and progress and reform are usually affiliated and associated with people singing Kumbaya. So, Wyld, can you actually? We haven't done the song request. I mean, Mark, do you, Porkbutte, can you do Kumbaya? I mean, you can't do Les Mis.
I can do the one line from Les Mis. So, I mean, I feel like I have to at least.
All right, let's do it. I mean, we have to do it. Let's hear the one line. Let's do it.
One day more, one more day, one day more. That's it. That's my singing.
That was so.
That was actually pretty good.
That was really good.
Really?
It's better than me. I can't sing shit, dude.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
Have you actually taken the adversarial? This is cute. The adversarial stance winds too many people up, says Marshmallow. Well, next time that you actually push a reform agenda and get something done, you can tell us how you did it by not being adversarial and not winding people up. Nobody ever gets anything done without winding people up. That is the nature.
It kind of, you know, what people don't understand when they have their little EVE arguments and write their 10,000 word essays on crossing zebras about certain mechanics. Like, the problem is like, you have to make a stand, and when you make a stand, you stand either in this way or that way, and you can't like cut it or soften it or make it prettier because you use these words and not those words. Like, you have to be very clear and direct. That's how people get information. That's how people make decisions. That's how shit gets done. And when you write 10,000 words to bitch about like skill injectors, like, that's stupid. You're not making a point. You're just hearing yourself talk. And I feel like that's what so many people in the evosphere, the media
don't
world,
get me wrong.
like to do.
Hearing myself talk.
I do too, and everybody on this show does. But I mean,
otherwise it wouldn't be a talk show. We'd just be sitting here.
Yeah.
If we didn't have people who were willing to make opinions known or cross lines, that's the thing Marshmallow is saying. There's a line that a shy nerd said is the line. Oh God, don't cross that random person who is going to sit down and shut up and be a good boy. Don't cross their line.
I look at the EVE celebrities. I think if there's the Spin Master 9000 website, I think you're doing something right. I mean,
I'm happy with it.
Right. I mean, I think when you have the ability to look into the camera I can't do it. This
So
is yours.
I just want to address this.
But I mean, those are some cool things. I mean, that's you've made it. So I think if you're going to be an Eve celebrity or a game celebrity, I'm sorry. I think the Mittani is a pretty good one to do it. I mean, every role is sort of filled. You have the Grath. You have.
I think there's so many people that keep making this point over and over again about how like goons wanted, like, in fact, you're talking about one of those changing moments in EVE Online. Mittens, was your essay a couple years ago about occupancy solve and Apex Force, and how Apex Force was a problem, Force Projection was a problem, Supers Titans are problems, and we should do a system based on occupancy. And the problem is, like, what we're talking about is occupancy solve done incredibly horribly fucking wrong, and that's what we have now. I love
occupancy solve. I love the idea.
The idea of it's great.
Solve is the stupid node whack-a-mole crap mechanics. Like the idea. Yeah. I mean, the idea of I like vulnerability windows. Right. I like the concept of vulnerability windows. I like the fact that vulnerability windows scale with ADM. So if we wanted to, and this is a reasonable point. So here's the thing. So it's one thing, the guys here in chat saying, like, criticizing being negative. It is crap to just criticize without offering a solution or some sort of alternative. So when we're talking about fuzzy solve being shit, what we should specifically say is that the mechanics of node spawning and the cosmic whack-a-mole in the Constellation battle space is shit. I like the Constellation battle space, right? Having things being concentrated in Constellation, awesome. I like the vulnerability windows. I really like the ADMs, which might surprise some people. I like the fact that
ADMs
we can
awesome.
run mining ops for a strategic reason. It gives PvE players a reason to be part of a PvP alliance. I love all of that, and that is one of the reasons why fuzzy solve is so infuriating, is that it's a few iterative steps from not blowing ass. But when they are criticized in any particular way, people get thin skins and, oh my god, somebody said mean things about us and I can't handle it because my ego is very fragile. Exactly. And so it just comes down to the node fight mechanics.
Yeah, the whack-a-mole stuff has to go. It just fucking has to go.
I mean, could you imagine if when nodes were spawned, like maybe you have to do Entosis links to do the initial hacks, keep the Entosis links for the initial hacks on a TCU or something like that, because you're only hacking one or two things. But imagine if nodes had hit points. Imagine if you had to shoot nodes and they gave you kill mails.
Hey, shooting things is exciting.
If nodes had hit points, like everything else had hit points in the fucking Dominion system, and you got a fucking kill mail for blowing up a node one way or another, and you could rep a node or you could shoot a node, suddenly nobody's holding their dicks for half an hour playing Cosmic Whack-A-Mole with lasers and having to use triage carriers to hack something. That's stupid.
Yeah. It's really dumb game design.
You
can
really criticize the system and say it fucking sucks, and say this is the area that it fucking sucks, which is the Cosmic Whack-A-Mole. Let's get some fucking kill mails and EHP back involved here. Then you can have DPS races. So, you can have, just like in the old Dominion system, where be like, well, there's an entire fleet over there, and instead of choosing to engage these two fleets, they're like, well, we don't really want to engage, but we're going to have a DPS race, which then usually would inevitably result in escalation, because both sides would put lots of dreads on the field, and then after the DPS race for a SBU or a hub or something would be won or lost, and these things would clash. But yeah, where's the kill mails in EVE Online?
Yeah, when you get the Scepter. The Scepter was the first thing where they realized they made the mistake. The Entosis machines of doom. You're like, wait, there's something flawed. And you thought once they fixed that they were going to go further, right? But then you saw it, and we're I agree. I think I think whatever happened between the dialogue between the players and CCP, that was that bridge that needs to come back, because it's like you've got some good parts. Now keep going.
Yeah.
And I just feel like you're right. They stop thinking sometimes because they get butthurt about it.
And the other thing about this is that, as Diesel 1975 was saying, Asher's idea is that if you have ADM affects the amount of hit points on the node. So your node is a blob of hit points, and if you have a really high ADM, your nodes are lots of hit points. Yeah. Wow!
Hey man, that's like, it fixes everything.
Oh my god, it's almost as if these fixes. But what we really need to do is, instead of saying this on live TV, what we really need to do is sing Kumbaya and not openly talk about ideas, because then people's feelings might get hurt, and we can't. Feelings matter.
I guess we could write some 10,000 word articles and put them on TMC about it. That's something we could do.
I will bring us all together. I think that we can all get together, every alliance, hand in hand, and I think there's a possibility for us to work this out.
Yeah.
Mostly Lenny though. hold my hand. I need your money. I don't. We'll do it. Come on, get on the show. I know you wanted a bag of dicks. I don't have that, but I got, I need money. That's all I'm saying. Sorry.
That was one of those things though, where like, people are saying in chat, like, when people are saying that Dominion or Pastov is better, because Dominion and Pastov at least gave you kill minutes, right? Like you would at least blow something up and get the satisfaction for that. Somebody's saying, as long as these suggestions come from Goons, they will never happen. Well, apparently they might happen, because apparently it is Goonswarm's fault that Eve's PCU, and specifically my fault that Eve's PCU is declining, because I made a decision based upon a press release along with the rest of the directorate to not feed our super capital fleet into a woodchipper and to not feed everybody up ourselves on a platter for content. So it really is all of our fault. And so when you say that when we're doing something wrong and it's our fault, that's not very different. That's like Tuesday.
Would you think we're ever going to get our supers out of 93 PI?
I don't know. We still have our entire super cap fleet trapped there.
I think that tower was taken and it's bubbled, so I'm not entirely certain we're going to win this war. That's all I'm saying.
Man, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, but we got to do something, otherwise Eve will be destroyed, because we're the ones. And
it will be your fault.
It'll be all in your hands.
It is.
I don't know what I'll do. I don't know how I'll get through the day. I'll have to go work at Burger King. I read that on Reddit a while back. Burger King will definitely happen.
Yeah, if you were doing the RMT thing, right, Mittani, like you wouldn't have me not knowing what to do hosting the show right now.
That's true. Well, I'm too busy wasting time on yachts, which is why I'll have to work at Burger King, because it makes sense. Like, spend time on yachts and then need to go work at Burger King.
I do love shrimp. I'm just saying.
Shrimp are excellent, as are yachts. Clubs are excellent. Yachts are excellent. Shrimp are excellent. I highly recommend that everybody go clubbing and then go on a yacht party and eat lots of shrimp. It is fantastic. And then maybe people would stop shaming about yachts, clubs, or shrimp. I mean,
yeah. I know maybe it's the last one. I did see a really funny joke that I give out to Batuka. I know that he doesn't get a lot of screen time on things. Is that he had a joke saying that an old man goes to a prostitute and pays her $10 and gets crabs, and he comes back to complain, and she's like, "Do you think for $10 you're gonna get lobster?" There you go, buddy. There you go. Syndisk.
That's a really good one.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, it is 5 o'clock. I don't know who's coming on next, because the boat show is.
If we have a boat show or not, we might not. And I think Boat was going to be back and ready by right now. Well, let's see whether he's on Jabber. Let's see whether we have. I do not see him, so we might or may not be having a boat show today. We might. Boat is at a wedding for his brother, and he's not marrying his brother. I don't think. I mean, I'm not going to judge. I mean,
that's all right, I guess.
It's a free country.
I bet he looks dapper.
Oh, Buff Fresh. Oh, I'm sorry. Fuck.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything you want to leave with your parting words? We haven't. We don't do Q&A anymore. We could take a question.
Well, how's the dog? Oh wait, that's for tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't actually have Q&As usually these days, because the show has been fairly Q&A-y. Like, we've been answering questions in chat and stuff like that, or more like pointing out idiots who are saying dumb things and mocking them, which is my idea.
We've
of a
gotten
fun
better
Q&A.
at watching chat, I think.
I think
that's important.
Maybe one of these days I'll also get better at setting up the UI for the stream, but.
I think we'll come up with a new song. I mean, that other one scares the children. I'm just saying. We need a.
I like the idea if we could have like a boat show style intro for the meta show. With,
I think all of our
MS Paint
new branding is like all of the branding we do from now on is just going to be MS Paint boat stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that is really.
Maybe have all of your directors just start saying the meta, and then it's kind of fun.
We get like an acapella choir, even though I hate acapella, of like having a bunch of people doing that.
Yeah. Well, and next time we could do karaoke too. I hear that also gets the the chat up and in their happiness place, because I want to keep the on a higher level of happy tones with people, because people just get cranky in that chat room.
That's true. They get a little mad. Well, I mean, I think it's that as we're saying things that. Oh wow, that's right. Jay Amazingness has the Allison Quinn intro for the meta show that he just linked in.
Oh, chat. Let me see that.
It's in chat. You've got to see this. Actually, is it possible, Marconius? Like, is it like? Do you have the technical skills to be able to take the Allison Quinn thing and actually put it on the live stream to force people to see it?
I mean, I think I could point the camera at it. I don't really know.
I can just. I think I can do it. Hold on, let me do.
You're gonna do it live. You're gonna try to actually get YouTube up on the stream.
I kind of feel like this has to be the end.
This has got to be our outro. Exactly. It's gonna happen.
I mean, I might have to dance.
Hey man, you got to do what you got to do. Like sometimes you just got to fucking rock out.
This guy is cool.
Yeah. Allison Quinn got permabanned. Somebody has said.
No, really?
Is that true?
Oh, he probably took money for all the wrong things.
He probably danced too hard, and people were worried it was becoming like a health and welfare issue. Wow, Marconius has in fact got it up on stream.
A meth head. Okay. Again,
this is really good dancing.
Why?
I am clearly a sociopath. Clearly a sociopath. That's true.
I'm just
I make eye contact. Actually, I haven't done eye contact in a while, so I'm just gonna go. But you can't actually see me doing eye contact because we're watching Allison Quinn.
Yeah.
So that's a shame. All right.
Oh, you can do it.
All right. Well, thank you again. I'll be right here with the headphones on.
Next couple weeks, and make sure you got food to be able to make it through. So
I got it. So.
All right, guys.
Whole line of meth right here. So.
enjoy your recreational activities. See you next week.
Awesome, guys. I will catch y'all next week. And
bye.
Bye.